She was 24 years old when she met her trafficker. She was a stay-at-home mom. She had 2 kids. She was a PTA mom. She was a classroom mom. Her life was filled with joy. She was married to her high school sweetheart. She didn't have any formal education, but she didn't care because she was happy and content. Her husband came back from war with PTSD, and overnight he decided he didn't want his family anymore. So overnight, Rachel was left with a mortgage, 2 car payments, 2 kids. She started working nights at a retail center to make a life for her children. At about 2:30 in the morning, a man came through her line and said, "How are you?" And Rachel answered him, not knowing she just revealed her vulnerabilities, a broken heart, and financial instability. This man showed up the next night, and he showed up the next night, and he showed up the next night. And they started to form a friendship, which led to them being romantic, which eventually led him to moving into her house. He said, "Don't worry about this, Rachel, I got it. I'll pay your mortgage, I'll pay your car payments, don't worry about it." And for the next year, he was intimately involved in her life, an entire year, built trust, knew her children, and slowly started to isolate her. And that is after a year, he introduced severe violence, extreme sexual exploitation, and threats against her children, and forced her into the life of sex trafficking for the next 10 years in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a lot different than what you hear about. Human trafficking is the use of force, fraud, or coercion to make a person perform a sex act for profit. Human trafficking is a business. It's driven by demand and supply, and it is the darkest side of business. Because the entire business is based on the exploitation of women like Rachel, of our daughters, of our mothers, of our sisters, of our friends. And the bottom line is profit at all cost. So the sex trade is a huge business, globally making $99 billion a year. That's $267 million a day. That's more than all the NFL teams combined. So that means there is a demand that customers are buying $99 billion off the exploitation of Rachel. Our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our friends. And this business, it's destroying our community. What a lot of people don't know is that if a woman is in the commercial sex trade industry, study after study after study shows that 75 to 95% of those women were sexually abused as children, were sexually exploited, and then there's an entire industry ready to build their business off of her childhood exploitation. So let's pick up Rachel's story. She was in the life for 10 years. She lost her kids. She was involved in criminal activity under trafficking. The FBI followed her for the last 4 years when she was in the life to build a case against her trafficker. And she was able to leave only because they finally arrested her trafficker for drug charges. When, at the time of the arrest, he was controlling the lives of 36 women on the corner of 95 and South Side in a hotel. So here's Rachel. She's disappeared from the world for 10 years, extreme violence, extreme exploitation. She has no job, no resume, no formal job history her entire life. People told her to her face, "We don't want your kind here." She has no driver's license, she has no car, she has no place to live, she's couch surfing. She has severe, complex trauma, which she doesn't know that yet. She has PTSD, she's having panic attacks. Trauma steals your ability to think long term, so she's living out of survival mode, and she doesn't even know what the word human trafficking means. All she knows is that she wants a new life. And the only people calling her are the traffickers. So she finally calls the FBI agent and says, "I don't know what to do. You said my life would get better." And he says, "You need to go to Rethreaded." And Rachel walked in our door. And for women like Rachel, she is why we exist. So Rethreaded's mission is to restore choice, eliminate vulnerabilities to exploitation, and break the generational cycle of trauma for survivors of human trafficking through long-term employment, career development, and supportive services. So basically what we do is harness all the good that business does. Everything that's good about it is that we pour into that and we give space for women to reclaim their lives from the trauma they experienced and reach their potential. So our business model is donations pay for all the services that we provide. So a woman will come to us for long-term employment, 3 to 5 years, and when she's employed with us, we provide wraparound services. And then we run a business, which provides the work. So our business is, we run a food manufacturing company. We make toffee. It's the best toffee in the entire world. We bought a toffee company about 2 years ago. And then we run an upcycling company where we upcycle t-shirts and leather airline seats into new products. So these are an example of the coasters we make. And we're trying to scale our business through corporate gift giving. So companies can purchase our amazing gift boxes for their employees, their vendors, their clients, and then we can put their company's names on it. This is Riverside Homes, this is Southwest Airlines, and they can give these products out to their clients and vendors. And when women come to us, let's say when Rachel came to us, if this is your potential as a human being, she walked in and this is all she could hold in life. So we define the potential as the ability to hold all the good and all the bad with love. So Rachel came in, her capacity at that point was just to survive. So she's basically holding on to blame and shame. She's holding on to trauma. She came in, we found out she had an interest in finance. And within 2 years, she was running 95% of our day-to-day finances. She became the first woman in Northeast Florida after 2 years to get her record expunged, which means she got access to her license, which means she got access to a car, which means she got access to an apartment, which means she got her kids back, which means she was able to start college. And while she's going through this, she's going through what we call the Rethreaded process. So this is 5 elements that we believe a person must experience to reach their potential and heal. So this is purpose, and this comes through the work at Rethreaded. How are you made? What unique way do you move in the world? Our women have been reduced to being a commodity, so at Rethreaded, through the work, they could discover what's inside them. And vision. Like the vision at Rethreaded is that you're paving the way for the woman behind you, and every single thing you do matters. Vision means that you believe the future can change, and you believe it so much, you'll take action. Then community. Community are the people around you who love you, support you, and will hold you accountable for being who you're created to be. These are the people that won't let you off the hook. These are the people that hold hope for you when you don't have hope. And then openness. Openness is the ability to be honest with what is and vulnerable with other people. Our women have been taught to trust nobody. So they come into our environment and they learn how to be open and trust. And then time. Rethreaded is one of the only organizations in the entire country that is 3 to 5 years. It takes at minimum 2 years to heal from severe complex trauma. And so then the first 2 years is just recovering. The next 3 years is the rebuilding. And what happens at Rethreaded is that over time and investing in these 5, a woman's sphere of potential expands. And we get to experience the higher calling of business. And I'm here today to tell you to don't settle for profit. That the highest calling of business, if you really want to reach your potential as a business owner, the highest calling of business is to change the lives of the people it touches. This does not mean that you do not make money. Rethreaded has to make money. We have to be profitable in order to survive. Your company has to be profitable. Investors, you know that where you put your money, things change. Mountains move. Entrepreneurs, I know what it's like to put your whole being into something and want it to succeed. I've been there, I've done it. But what I'm asking you is, are you really reaching your potential? Because I believe Rethreaded proves that the highest calling is to change lives. So my question for you is, as business leaders, how are you harnessing the power of business? Where does changing lives fall into your business plans? And more importantly, where is Rachel in your business plan? Where is Rachel in the companies that you're investing in? Who is Rachel to you? Is it veterans? Is it immigration? Is it the environment? Is it just the people that work in your company? Is it Jacksonville as a whole? Like, who is your Rachel? And what actions are you taking to actually make a difference in your community? What is your give back plan? Like, what if investors, you started asking and investing in those leaders when you ask, what is your plan to bring change into this world? They have an answer to you. I just sat down with a business owner and they're giving 20% of all their profits away. We have companies who are giving their services pro bono. You don't even have to give money. Like Dr. Matthew Thompson, you'll hear from him later today, gives Rethreaded free virtual healthcare and has changed the game for all our women at Rethreaded. Maybe you give free counsel to other CEOs. Maybe you become a second chance employer. If it's Rethreaded, awesome. I will take your donations. I will take your corporate gift order. Because just a healthy P&L isn't enough. Whose lives are getting better because of your business? Whose lives are getting better because of your investment? I know you know your P&L. I know you know your P&L. I know you know the P&L of the companies you're investing in. But do you know the names? Do you know the names of the people that you're changing? Don't settle for profit. And my final story is about Rachel. Rachel fought like hell to get her life back. She did all the hard work. She did all the hard counseling. She took a bus 2 hours each way for 2 years to Rethreaded, 2 hours each way until she was able to get her license. And she kept her Facebook profile public because she knew, even though the people in the life could see her, she knew there was women that were still in the life that she knew. And she knew that everything she did was paving the way for the woman behind her. And Rachel single-handedly brought 25 women to rethread it. You can give her an applause, yes. That's 25 daughters. It's 25 sisters. It's 25 friends. And you can't put that in your P&L. Our world is better because of Rachel. So as you move into this conference and you talk strategy and numbers and business, I want you to be so successful. But I'm going to leave you with this question. Do you know their names? Thank you.